If there's one secret to happiness in my life, it's taking care of the kindest creatures on earth. Sheep. I want you to meet my flock.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about The Sheep Detectives, a movie that I wasn't originally going to watch in the theater because I usually don't like movies with talking animals. I was bored one day, needed to get out of the house, so decided to watch this instead of The Wizard of Kremlin because things in the world are a little dark and I needed something a little bit lighthearted. Wasn't sure what to expect. I have heard good things about The Sheep Detectives, and I'm pleasantly surprised that it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. So this is written by Craig Mazin, who has an interesting past for the type of film this is because he's the writer, creator of Chernobyl, The Last of Us, Mythic Quest, which is a show I really enjoy. Last of Us, I like the first season. I haven't seen the second one. I don't know why, I just haven't got around to it. I haven't seen Chernobyl. Was going to start it, but it was really dark and I wasn't really in the mood for that kind of material. Also, with the first writing credit of Leona Swan. And this is directed by Kyle Balda, who's more known for the animated films Minions, Despicable Me 3, The Lorax, and a laundry list of other animated films along those lines. So a interesting mix of creative energy behind this with the director of a lot of animated films and the writer of some kind of dark topics. But from what I've heard is Craig Mazin has been trying to make this feature film for a long time. It's just been on the back burner, but I guess it's a good time to release something that's a little more low-key, a little more mystery-based, kind of that old school mystery. And this one stars Hugh Jackman is the shepherd, the main character, although he dies in the movie, but that's in the trailers. You also have, like, it's a stacked cast. You got Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Brett Goldstein, Regina Hall, Chris O'Dowd, Patrick Stewart, Bryan Cranston, Emma Thompson, and there's probably a bunch of other people I'm missing in this one. Hugh Jackman plays the shepherd. He is murdered one evening, and he was known for reading mystery novels to all his sheep. And unbeknownst to him, his sheep could actually talk to each other. And that is where the movie has that animal talking aspect, is these sheep have personalities of their own. One thing I did appreciate is they didn't do super kitty type stuff with it. Yeah, there are some jokey moments with some of the characters, but it wasn't over the top. It felt that it aligned with the movie they made, and it kind of balances something that's really for kids but also adults, and I think it does a really good job of keeping it there for the most part, especially within the mystery aspect of the movie, which I actually enjoyed most of all. The talking animal stuff, I'm still not a huge fan of talking animal type movies, especially when it's a combination of live action and CGI special effects. The animals look pretty good in this, and there is a few scenes where you kind of get taken out of the animals because you're trying to figure out who the voice is that's talking. And I was like, who is the lead in this? And it's pretty much Julia Louis-Dreyfus as I think the sheep's name's Leslie. I'm probably totally messing that up. She is basically the main character, and then everybody else is more of the sub characters, including the sheep. There are a lot of other people in the movie that you meet throughout, initially in the beginning, because Hugh Jackman is in it for primarily beginning in a couple flashback scenes here and there, but he does talk about like the butchered, and there's another shepherd in town. You got like the hotel owner, a pastor, a reporter who's coming to town for some event that they're doing, and there's like the local one police officer. There's a daughter character, there's a lawyer, and so you spend the movie trying to figure out who is the killer out of all these people. And they did a good job of not telegraphing who the killer was. I guess if you were paying a little bit more attention, you would know who it is by the end of the movie. But I was just enjoying the film and taking in, these different characters, especially some of the sheep, and how they present sheep, which is slightly interesting. I won't really talk about that as it is, I don't know, I guess kind of a key part of some of the aspect and some of the stuff they're trying to say in the movie. And there's some kind of scenes where they're dealing with mortality and discrimination, which I thought were actually pretty powerful in how they represented it in this film, especially for something for kids. There are one or two kind of dark scenes that young audiences probably would not like too much, but in this day and age, who knows? It's a wild west out there. And the primary sheep, who's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, is the one who's wants to figure out that something happened to the shepherd. So they do investigate based on what they know from all the novels that he wrote to them. And it is interesting to see how they are aiding the police officer in the investigation and trying to figure out which townsperson is the culprit of this murder. It doesn't go super deep. It does kind of feel like a Murder on the Orient Express and those types of films a little bit, but more child friendly. And it does a good enough aspect of the mystery that ties along with everything in the film. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. It was a lighthearted movie with, decent mystery. Kids will probably love it. There's just enough kind of humorous aspects with the sheep that a lot of kids will enjoy it, but not as goofy that adults will get annoyed by it. So it's definitely for more of the mature side of kids. I wouldn't take like 3 or 4-year-olds to this, but if they're third, fourth, fifth grades, I think they'll probably be fine with it. But I'll leave that up to you. I would probably take my kid to this for sure when he was younger. And I definitely recommend checking this out, especially if you're looking for an escape at the theater. So I'd give The Sheep Detectives 3 stars.